Oi!
Dude, something I really don't know what you're going to do.
Hell yeah. All right. What is it, week 12 now?
Week 12, yeah.
Week 12, and it's shitbird week.
Oh, dude. Scary week.
All right, yes. It's a battle for the division, finally.
Yeah, feels like that. I feel like every game's a battle for the division, how close they are,
yeah.
seriously.
And then I have no confidence at all, but, you
Same.
know, I'm sure they feel the same way because, you know, around the league, it's kind of been the same story for just about every team.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely struggled with the Lions, but a win's a win, and I'll take it. There's nothing to really take away other than Baker didn't play that great of a game. We threw the ball 30 times in the rain with a hurt quarterback, and our coach just went into saying, well, the weather wasn't ideal for throwing the ball. No shit. So we
were at the game. We could tell.
It was raining, and I just don't understand the thought process of throwing the ball 30 times in the weather and with a hurt quarterback. But hey, that's why I'm not an NFL coach. That's why I'm here. But
that's why we're talking on YouTube.
Yeah, we're talking on YouTube. That's all right though. But you know, that still same thing. We're playing out of our identity. We're not running the ball that much. Playing a lot of everything out of the empty set. Still not working. You know, but some hopefuls for this week. We get Kareem Hunt back and Jack Conklin. And Kareem Hunt is definitely going to bring back that energy. So I'm already going to start it off. I'm jumping the gun super early.
Okay.
First cowtail.
Kareem Hunt?
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's it. Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, we finally get that rotational piece back. I mean, that's a thing that we clearly missed.
Yeah.
For 5 weeks now? Been up for 5 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been since Arizona. And,
yeah.
You know, he brings a whole different aspect to your offense.
And he brings an energy, kind of like how Jarvis Landry brings it, I feel.
Right. You're always going to have a fresh set of legs in there when you're sending out Chubb or Kareem or even Dearness. It doesn't really matter. And having Kareem out there lets you do a lot of other things. You know, you have a running back that was leading your team in receptions. So, you know, that's a big loss itself. And, you know, it's that when you keep running the ball, you're taking it to the other team. And with the combination of Nick Chubb, you know, is it thunder and lightning? Who knows? It's hard to tell because they're a little bit of both. Like Nick Chubb is that more simple finesse, one cut, but he'll still wreck you. Stiff arms, you know, one arm tackles that are not going to bring him down. And then you have someone like Kareem Hunt that hits the hole hard. And he's bringing the hit to you. He's not going to wait for you to come to him.
He'll run you over.
So, but looking at being a defender in the fourth quarter, you really don't want to see someone like Kareem Hunt. And when Kareem Hunt's not in there in the fourth quarter, that really opens it up for Nick Chubb because teams are going to be hesitant to go make that play late in the game. So I think it really starts there with bringing back Kareem Hunt. And I think he's going to be, you know, the key to get this offense going again.
Yeah, I also feel since he's been out, we haven't done a lot of the play action as well. I feel like that's been like limiting when they kind of know how Chubb runs and how they operate, you know, and how they do that. But he just adds that extra element to their game plan. And so we just haven't seen as much as play action, nor has it worked as much, especially having him out in the flats. Like you mentioned, the receptions. He was the check down guy. You know, if no one else was downfield, you can have a reliable pass and at least pick up first down. So we've missed it a ton. And, you know, we'll see what happens. I definitely agree. That's a big cowtail right there.
I mean, it's early in the show, but, you know, I think he as well deserved it. It's Kareem Hunt week. That's put that in the intro. It's Kareem Hunt week, and I think it's going to start and end with him this week. And that's not saying anything bad about anybody else. Nick Chubb is well deserving of that same title, but having them both back, they complement each other so well that it brings an extra aspect to this offense that is desperately needed at this time of the year, especially going into Baltimore. I would say the luckiest team in the NFL.
Oh my God! Last week was the luckiest game I think I've ever seen in my life.
They have gotten away with close games all week. All year. Start with a 68-yard field goal to win the game in Detroit. You go out and you had to come back 14 against the Colts, and you lost. You won that game off a bad penalty. You lost. You won another game against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football where, the Chiefs were running out the clock and they fumbled. And, that never happens. It's a rare occasion, and they were on Baltimore side of the field. The game was over with.
Yeah, I think they're struggling as much as we're struggling, and they have a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
As we're getting healthy, I feel like they're like a couple weeks into their injuries.
Their injuries are definitely catching up with them.
They are where we were, I would say, 3 weeks ago.
Right, and
injury-wise.
They were lucky enough to get a good start to their season. And looking at their schedule, going forward, they really have a tough schedule coming ahead, just like the Steelers and the Browns do.
The Bengals have a tough schedule.
Right.
A lot of people say it's kind of looking for them, but schedule-wise. But I looked at that schedule, and I could see them losing majority of the games coming up here. So.
Right. This AFC North, it might come down who's going to lose the game first.
Yeah, dude.
Right, and it's just really going to, I think it starts this weekend where, you have Pittsburgh playing Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, and then you have Browns-Ravens this week, and then
Ravens-Steelers next week.
So, yeah, it keeps on going.
It's going to be a weird one, man.
Right, it's going to come down to these divisional games.
I swear it's going to be really annoying. Something with the Steelers tie is going to really screw us, I feel. I don't know why, but...
It definitely could.
Definitely could. But
if
I was going to throw a cowtail out here just to match yours.
So just throw it out.
I'm going to have to. Speaking of throwing, Baker Mayfield needs a huge game.
Oh.
He needs a huge game because as much as we can run the ball, which we're going to, I hope... I feel like this game is going to fall on his shoulders at some point. At some point, it's going to be like the running game just isn't enough. And Baker, we need you to step up. We need you to have a game like you had against the Bengals, like you had against the Chiefs. We need that this week. We don't maybe we can get away. Like it's not the Lions. It's not a struggling Bears team. It's not a Houston. This is the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. He's gonna score points. It's gonna basically be like, how can we stop them as much as how can we score and take advantage of every single drive. And we cannot afford to punt or bad overthrows to Landry for that interception, which was a horrific throw.
Yeah,
we cannot do that this week. Baker Mayfield needs to really step up to the plate, and I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that one. It's not a cowtail that I'm confident in.
It's more like a calling out. I'm going to call you out with this cowtail.
You need to do it.
Like you're holding your hand, like you need this week.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think this is someone, Baker can make or break your team, and we're starting to see that. And going into Baltimore, he's playing for money right now. And going back and looking at this season so far, I don't see how you could put money towards Baker for the way he's been playing. And I'm not saying he's rubbish or anything. It's just he's not playing great ball. I mean, he's been playing hurt, and
which is only an excuse that you can use for how many weeks. I mean, if you're cleared and you're able to play, you better be able to play and play at a high level.
Right.
I'm like over the injury thing. I'm getting kind of over. You know what I mean? Saying hey, he's hurt because he is hurt. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you've been playing and you took 1 week off and that's it, and you've been playing since, doesn't matter. And before you got hurt, I mean, I know that's going back to week 2, but like doesn't like before even a tear or the knee. It's still you've been playing bad. So this week we need a win, and it's going to fall on your shoulders. And I feel like he needs to step up and win us this game.
Right. It's all going to be coming down to making the easy throws. He missed a lot of throws last week that he probably shouldn't have made. He's known for making the difficult throws, and you're going up against another defense that's been struggling all year against the pass.
But last week, I mean, the Lions. I mean, that's one of the worst secondaries in the entire NFL.
Yeah, right.
And he cut 2 interceptions.
Right, I mean, exactly. But it's something that we should definitely take a look at when you're watching the game this week is how they deal against this pass defense. Another thing to look at is their pass rush. They're 6th in the league when it comes to rushing the passer. Baltimore's always been known for having a tough defensive line, but there are some noticeable injuries that could play a big factor in how we handle this Baltimore team this week. Calais Campbell is in concussion protocol and has not practiced all week. That could be a big deal, but he could be cleared by Sunday. It's all, it's all a toss-up right now. They're playing very short-handed right now. They've lost a couple great defenders to injuries for the year, and Chuck Clark, and it's a rough season for Baltimore as well. On both sides of the ball, the injuries have been killing them. They lost their whole backfield before the season even started.
Although Freeman is playing pretty well right now. I don't think he's not a Nick Chubb, but he's serviceable.
Yeah, he's getting the job done, and but to stick on the offensive side of the ball, I think it really starts with running the ball, getting Baker comfortable, and just stick to your identity, ringing that bell again for like the 100th time this year. Just stick to what you're good at, and you can go in and win this game. I went back and watched the Baltimore game from Monday Night Football last year, and by far that was one of the best games I've ever seen, specifically from the Browns. And Baker Mayfield probably had his best game as a Brown that night. He was moving well in that pocket and making those throws that show why he's Baker. And I mean, that was only 10 games ago, and it just seems like we're watching a whole different team. And I think the injuries are a big deal, especially with that knee, because he's not moving as good as he usually does.
Yeah, I mean, he limped off when he ran for that few yards on the sideline.
Untouched, and
he limped back to the huddle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was the first game that it was like really noticeable how bad the injuries are right now on him. But he's playing for pride. There's still a lot to play for in this season. You got to respect it, because as a player, you're trying to get out of the trainer's room and try to stay healthy, and you're fighting all week just to play in this game. And you're giving it your all. Even if he's playing like shit, he's giving it his all.
It's true.
And I'm sure that's why it's been frustrating for him as well. It's not. I don't think it was fair to boo him off the field, but I mean, he made some horrible throws. But of course, as every Browns fan does, say he goes off this week against Baltimore, it's gonna be, oh yeah, Baker's the franchise again. You know, all the Baker fans would be coming out the woodwork. I definitely have been hard on him all week, but at the same time, I think it was fair. But I'm always gonna root for him because he's my quarterback, and we're gonna keep it that way. Hopefully, I'm just saying he's not worth that money at this point in the season.
I agree.
Moving on, I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think we roll in right into our Royal Donuts keys to the game.
Roll.
I like that one.
You
Yeah.
probably thought about that all week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a great thing. I think you really got to make this Baltimore offense one-dimensional, and I think really what you got to do is make Lamar Jackson throw the ball. Miami really made an example of that, and I think that's the perfect example. You're playing with a hurt backfield. Lamar has not been feeling great. When this Baltimore team goes against the blitz, they're not really that great. They lost 3 receivers this week to injury, Duvernay and Miles Boykin. And Marquise Brown's been dealing with injury, and they got Rashad Bateman. Marcus Andrews is still out there.
Sammy Watkins had a big week last week.
Right. So I think a lot of this is like blitz everybody, make Lamar throw the ball, and stick in man coverage, because I think man coverage against this team is going to be perfect. Our corners are set for man coverage. I think that's what they're good at. And Lamar struggles against pressure. This is a quarterback that's been sacked just as much as Baker has. One of the worst teams against the pass rush this year, and they're even banged up. They've lost 2 tackles. Villanueva's been dealing with an injury, and he might not be ready to go Sunday. They lost another guard this past week, and you just got to get in there and get after Lamar and bring that pressure.
And I think our safeties are going to be a huge factor with this week as well, because they're what their title suggests. It's a safety. They need to be back there just in case he's gonna run the ball, of course, and that's like our linebackers are obviously going to be a huge factor in this game of stopping the run. But once they stop that run, the safeties need to be on point. They can't leave Marquise Brown down the field like they did with Williams,
right?
The Chargers game. You can't do that. You can't have a Tyreek Hill down there and no one's covering him, for that touchdown at the beginning of the year. The safeties need to play that. When man breaks down and there's someone that gets open, our safeties need to be on point. And I think the safeties are going to be a huge factor with this week as well.
All right. I think a lot of this week is just keeping everything in front of you. This is a fast team that can get behind you. Marquise Brown's got a lot of speed to him.
Small
dude.
You
can easily get into his head, and he's known for dropping the ball.
Yeah.
So this is a team that has been struggling, but also has the ability to light it up. And I really, just going back to what I said, make them one-dimensional, take away the run game where they are dangerous at. We don't want Lamar going for 100 yards, because if he gets to that point, it's going to be a long night for the Cleveland Browns.
I feel like they're similar to us, where they are so explosive and so good some weeks, and then just look like a different team the next, and then really, really good. Like, oh my God, this is like, this is Super Bowl caliber, and then you just see them just like bomb out again, and I feel like it's kind of matching up with us.
And I think I'm gonna throw on the final cowtail.
Let's do it.
I think it's pretty simple for me here. I was ringing this bell when he got drafted this year, and I think this is the reason why you drafted him. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm saying his name again. He's getting a cowtail.
We talked about this all year.
All year. This is the game that you drafted him for. This guy is the dual threat that can play sideline to sideline, and having a guy like that against a team like the Baltimore Ravens is going to do you a lot of due diligence, and you're going to be able to get after Lamar, play that read option very well. This isn't Kyler Murray, where Kyler can throw it on a drop of a dime. Lamar I think he's a great quarterback, but he struggles a lot. He's very inconsistent when it comes to throwing the ball.
Yeah, well, especially as we mentioned a little bit earlier, pressure-wise.
Right. And he's, you bring that pressure on him and you stop him from running, you take a lot of his game away from him. When he's able to run the ball, that makes him a threat on every aspect of the game. If he's running the ball good, that allows him to open up the pass game.
Especially then you're coverage. Like worried about the run,
right.
Which you should be all the time. But when you stop it and he's getting nowhere, then he has to pass. But when he can run and pass, that's where he becomes that's where he becomes the MVP of the NFL.
Right. This is where we need to show up on the defensive side of the ball and stop the run. Really got to shut it down. Koromoa, I think, is the key to stopping it and that read option. Because if he's only getting a yard or two a pop the whole game, that is the goal. We don't want 10-yard runs. We don't want 15. Even a 7-yard run is too much. We need to keep them, short range runs here.
Where do you think they're going to place JOK? Do you think they're going to blitz him a lot? Or do you think they're going to have him on the flats and the weak side? Or where do you think in the middle?
He's probably going to play a lot of weak side ball this week. I think he'll definitely be glued to Lamar Jackson. With the RPO style offense, a lot of the blocking schemes, they leave the backside end or linebacker open to basically make the read. And when the quarterback's reading the end goes with the back, he keeps it. If the end just kind of sticks with the quarterback, he hands it off or he passes it. It all depends on how he reads the linebackers and the ends. That's what makes the RPO offense. And having someone like Jadeveon Clowney or Myles Garrett and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think this is where it'll help you, because you got defensive ends that are disciplined, and you got a young linebacker that can really. For what he is as a rookie, he is a very smart player, and he really sees the field well. He was really great at shutting down the RPOs in college, and I think he's ready to shut it down again in the NFL. So, Cartel for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Predictions?
Ring that bell. Again.
All right, sir. What are you thinking?
Sunday Night Football. It's the Cleveland Browns versus the old Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
It's been a head scratcher every year. You never know what Cleveland Browns team you're going to get.
True.
And I'm sure they're saying the same thing in Baltimore.
Probably even a little bit more.
Right. It's gonna be a tight one. I'm hoping the right Cleveland Browns team shows up. I hope the right Baker Mayfield shows up. But I really do believe that the injuries in Baltimore and where we're at with our injuries is going to be a big factor in this game. If Calais Campbell cannot go against us on Sunday, I think that's where the difference is. The Browns will be able to establish a run. They don't have to worry about it. Calais, I don't think I made a point of how good Calais Campbell is.
Okay.
This guy will wreck a game for you. He is a name that's not really thrown around that much. You can put him inside. You can line him outside. He can beat you in every other way, pass game, run game. He's a phenomenal player. Great size and all. And if you've watched a couple of games from the last couple of years, he's been a game wrecker for us, against us. So, that being said, if he is not able to go on Sunday, that will open up the run game for the Browns. And with the run game, that allows another wonderful thing called the pass game that hasn't really been there all year, even though we try all these funky things. Hopefully they come out prepared this week, because this is a team you can really get after in the air and on the ground. Even though they're pretty solid against the run. But I'm willing to put my money on the Browns offensive line, especially when they're fully healthy, any day of the week. So that being said, I said I wasn't confident at the end of the...
And then we started talking.
But, I thought about this for a while, But I'm pretty confident about this game. Am I confident that the right Browns team will show up? But I still think they'll be able to pull this one out. And I think it'll be a nice little 25-28 game Browns.
Okay. Oof. All right. So, I agree with everything you said. I'm just not confident at all that we're going to be the Browns that are going to be able to come in and beat the Ravens. I just don't think that our offense is at a good place, even with Hunt and Conklin coming back. I'm still just very, very unsure, and I do think we lose this game, unfortunately. I'm going to say 17-34 Ravens.
Yeah,
dude.
What?
Dude.
What?
I'm not super confident. I feel like this game is really going to run away from us in the fourth quarter. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong.
I very much hope I'm wrong. But like I said, I'm just, at this point in the season, I don't know what to expect. You really can't. I know you really can't expect anything from this team right now. You have to look at me like that. Come on.
What?
But we'll see what happens. I mean, that's as much I can give. But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Stone says thanks again. Week 12. Catch us next week.
Week 12.
We are going to have, me and Bill are going to play Madden for our bye week. So tune into
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So it'll be fun. He's probably going to whip my ass. I haven't played in a long time, so what's up? All right, thanks, guys.
And thank you for watching the Muni Light Report. Thank you.